Alright, it's time to talk about the Plastic Ono Band live in peace in Toronto, 1969. This is actually the back cover because it's more interesting than the cloud that's on the front. So, this is a band that John Lennon put together with Yoko Ono and Eric Clapton, who was somebody he'd played with a few times before, and Klaus Voorman, who was a long, long time friend of his from way back in when the Beatles played in Germany before they'd ever made a record. And Alan White was the drummer. Now, I, for years, thought that this was the same person as the studio musician who played drums on the single of Love Me Do, but he's not old enough to have been him. It was apparently somebody else with the same name. So, the tracks, it starts off with Blue Suede Shoes, and then Money, and Dizzy Miss Lizzie. All songs John had played before. And then these are all songs all well known to them. Then Your Blues, a Beatles song that Eric Clapton had played on him before. And this is then Cold Turkey, which this is the world premiere of Cold Turkey. And then Give Peace a Chance. And on this, they do a great rendition of this. Eric Clapton's lead guitar is great. It's worth having this album just for this side. However, the whole second side is first, Don't Worry Kyoto. Mommy's only looking for her hand in the snow. That's the B side of Cold Turkey single. And this is the world premiere of that. And then John, John, Let's Hope for Peace is the whole rest of this side of the album. Just Yoko Ono squalling. Now, this is a live performance, so eventually the audience started booing and they walked off the stage and left the instruments playing feedback. If you watch The Get Back, there's a scene where John and Yoko and Paul are playing this kind of stuff, and Paul seems to be enjoying himself, but afterwards he says, I think you've lost your minds. And I agree with him. People blame Yoko for the breakup of the Beatles, but John was gung-ho about this sort of stuff, too. And it was because of his art school education, and art went wrong late in the 19th century. The horrors of the industrial age was part of it. It traumatized humanity so badly that art turned bad. And then photography, before photography, paintings were getting super realistic. They looked like photographs. And photography were in that. Also, photography made some of the horror of real life more visible than it used to be. The great artists were often kept away from the really horrible parts of life. So battle paintings were made by people who weren't actually there. But Civil War, we started seeing the aftermath of the battle photographs, and as photography got better and better, we started seeing photographs of more and more horrific stuff. And then finally, World War II, after World War II, it was decided that no one would ever fail to get into art school again, because a certain person had, and the world paid for it. So splatter paintings, mixing a bunch of colors to make you see a color that's not there. It's a cool trick, but it's not as good as art used to be. Art had just gone down this bad road, and Yoko Ono was part of that scene. She's no, and so was John. No different. It was whole part of the scene. It's not them in isolation. It's the whole art world. So anyway, this whole side of an album, this stuff, and now I'll show you the cover real quick. It's just a cloud. That's it. You can see it there. See, just a cloud. So, yeah, I listened to this whole thing, except I'm not able to finish John. I want to show you the record. That's Apple on that side, and here's Yoko's side. So it's worth having this for the first side, but not the second side. I don't think it's been issued on CD ever. And I think that the squalling singing that Yoko did, the B-52s imitate it, but they treat it as a spice, not a main course, and it sounded much better when they did it. And later, Yoko did some melodic singing, but I think that this squalling traumatized some people so bad they could never forget Yoko had done that other thing. And she still does it occasionally. So, yeah, that will forever taint her when she tries to do more melodic stuff. She can be pretty good. I like her when she's singing right. But it's traumatized people so badly they can't get over it. Anyway, as I said, recommend this, the first side, not the second side.